Gents? Welcome to TSG Uncut. I am your host, Sean C. And today we're going to discuss. Uh, I have an article today that we're going to review where 15 women decide to try to date regular guys and it ends badly. Now, I told you guys on last week's live stream, I wanted to do this article because I felt it tied into last week's topic. And I want to make sure that not only are we looking at, the side of things when it comes to what men are dealing with women, but I also want to take the opportunity to be able to show you guys what women say that they're going through. Now, once we go through this article, we'll see together whether they're justified or not in some of these instances. And I feel that I wanted us to be enlightened with the other side of the coin and what I see when I hear from that. Now, I don't have any videos a day. Today, we're going to specifically go through this article, but I can guarantee and I can promise you that there's a lot of material for us to go through today. The other parts of that is something that I looked at in the last moment that that I wasn't expecting for. Normally, I do like profiles of the day and comments of the day. Today, we're going to do comments of the day because I looked through a few of the comments under the article and I was like, oh man, this is a whole nother can of worms that I just opened up that I wasn't expecting to see. So I didn't look at it in detail. So those comments, the comments of the day, we'll go through in real time, right? As always, let me say this. Your boy had a good birthday week. I will say that thank you to everyone who for the birthday wishes last week. I will say that it was definitely one for the books. I had a great time. I met some real cool people from out of town that decided to share in the festivities with me. And I got to tell you guys, I say this every live stream, and normally I say this a lot later, and I say it for a reason because I am trying to empower some of you gents out there. I know that you've been through some stuff. I know that maybe that you see things through a lens that uh, it could be a lens of despair for some gents. It could be a lens of, hey, things are just terrible right now. And believe it or not, I hear it from both, my male and female friends about how bad things are with just relationships in general. I'm not even talking about like romantic relationships. I'm talking about, in some cases, just relationships, right? But I'm bringing something up, and I saw two things came across me prior to me starting this live stream. The first thing that I came across before I started this live stream was that you guys know the star Kevin Costner, right? Kevin Costner has been known to be like, he's been around Hollywood for a while. So he's kind of got like the prima donna complex of being a part of the Hollywood agenda and or the elites, right? And I saw that Kevin Costner is actually going through a divorce or potentially going through a divorce with his wife. Now, she's the one filing for divorce. Oddly enough, she doesn't want spousal maintenance or anything. But they have very young kids. I think they have 9 or 12-year-old kid together. Very, very still young kids. And she's filing for divorce after 18 years. Now, this is not to say that Kevin Costner is the greatest dude ever and, she shouldn't divorce him. Like, I don't know the specifics of their situation, if you will. Let me make sure you guys hear me in the first place because, all right, you guys hear me. All right. I don't know the specifics of their situation. But you could be married for somebody for 18 years 18. 1-8. And now we just see like the only relationships that seem to be lasting the test of time is the people that just, they've been together so long, like they wouldn't know what to do without that person. And I know that there's probably a consensus of people and or women that would say, well, if she's not happy, she shouldn't stay. Right? I don't really hear dudes say that much. I think guys understand that sometimes things just don't work out. However, right, when we hear modern women today, when they talk about divorce, it's like, oh, girl, if he ain't doing this, that, the third, you should just leave. And ironically enough, this comes from friends who are just miserable, trying to tell them about leaving a situation. And some people need to leave ahead of time. I get that. Some people stay too long. I get that. But just leaving off of a feeling or a whim, not realizing before you even got married that this thing is hard. So I go back to my original thing I say every week. The first thing that I say all the time is that I am not mad or bitter at women. I'm not. The second thing is I am not a proponent. If you're not currently married, I am not a proponent for marriage. I am a proponent, however, of people who are currently married and or in long-term relationships. I am for you. I'll probably be one of your biggest advocates because society needs families to stick together. We are seeing the results of families not being intact, right? Even if people stay together, stay married just long enough for the kids to get out of the house and out of school, you could say, okay, that would benefit society. But then what is the purpose of marriage at that point? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you need that government state piece of paper to say that you need a piece of paper to be dedicated and committed to one person? Which the thought of monogamy, the more I sit and think about it, the more I have time to myself and really ponder on monogamy, I understand the need for it to some extent, but it's kind of like one of those, every time people make the argument about like, oh, she should be able to just go and do her thing and find love, and why she should be able to get divorced because she ain't happy. And the more I see this, the more I realize that no matter if you do get married, the chances of your spouse, especially if it's a woman, more so if it's a college educated woman, she's going to leave. So it's kind of like one of those, then who cares at this point? It's the Wild Wild West. Why should we care? I'm not saying I feel this way. I'm just throwing out discussions. Why should we care? But I'm diverting away from what I want to talk about today. The second thing that I want to put on you guys' minds and hearts, and I'm sorry because it's weighing on mine. I just celebrated a birthday and I'm hella grateful, like honestly, I try to remind myself. I brought up the first points about not being bitter, not being mad, to say that I try to enjoy my birthday. I try to enjoy every day, realizing that we have precious moments here on this earth. So the reason why I don't allow myself to be bitter and angry at women is because, first of all, I'm not going to just, I am in control of my thoughts and my feelings. That is part of finding yourself and getting on your purpose. The other part to it is that I don't want to dwell on negative, man. I just don't have time for it. I know I talk about a lot of negative stuff, but I do it in hopes of, it's kind of like a lotus flower, right? A lotus gets buried in the mud, and sometimes you got to go in the mud in order for the beauty of the flower of that flower to come out of it. And so I go to the negative so that we can work on ourselves, we can be better, and that we can take the negative that we see and be more positive. For you younger gentlemen out there, right? If you have a good woman, and I mean a good woman, dedicated to you, right? She's not like these other women out here. I know it's easy to say to you, like, it's easy to feel sometimes that, like, oh, well, you know what? Things aren't right. I could do better, whatever. I'm telling you, man, if you find that gem, that flower among the weeds, don't wait, man. Don't wait. Don't wait. I'm not saying you got to get married, but I'm saying, man, like, enjoy each other. Don't wait to get old to look back and to realize you passed up on something that could have been good, right? If these relationships are going to end anyway in anywhere from 5 to 20 plus years, then why not enjoy each other? Why not, oh, well, then we should go out there and just enjoy as many people as possible? No, man. If you have that one person that's good to you, man, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Might as well. All right. So I'm gonna get to you guys' comments. I'm not trying to get away. I wanna make a specific point before I get started in today's article, right? I'm trying to tell you guys that life is precious. And I found out from a friend today that her ex-husband, who also, that I would have considered a friend, we hadn't talked in some years, but her ex-husband passed away. And that dude, even though it didn't work between them two, both of them were very sweet people. It just, one of those situations just didn't work out. All right. So there's just nothing more to say. This guy was probably one of the chillest dudes. Now, when I was in the military and I was a young buck, he was a little bit older than me, but him and his wife that I'm friends with, they helped my family at a lot of different times, especially me being inexperienced and big family. I'm a young man with a big family right now, and I just found out that dude passed away. And not only did he pass away, he wasn't a very old man, like I would have, maybe he was 50, right? Maybe. That's young. That's young to pass away, man. And he passed away on my birthday. So it'll be hard going forward not to look at my birthday with celebrating eyes, but also remembrance of this dude. And this dude was just like you and me, man. So, to talk about this subject today about modern women dating regular guys, he was a regular guy. Was he perfect? No. He probably had some things to work on. He was a little bit bigger man, but not like, he's a big dude. I mean, like a big country boy. He's from, I believe, Kentucky or something like that, right? He's a big dude, right? And some of you guys are good men, but maybe you're a little bit bigger. You haven't been working out. You haven't been putting that grind on. You're not a bad dude. You just haven't done the work, for whatever reason. And that's kind of what this subject is about today. Today, we're going to look at the flaws in ourselves in these women's arguments while looking at the flaws that both men and women make. We both make flawed errors. In some of these situations, I'm going to say that these women are justified. This channel is about improvement. If that ain't what you're about, then maybe I'm not the channel for you. Okay. I know you guys don't rock with everything I put out. I'm okay with that as well. But I'm going to give you some real, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to give you real today. Right? So the fact that this man passed away, I always say, y'all, you'll hear me say at the end of some of my videos, and it used to be one of the biggest catchphrases of this channel, or one of many, but I always say, live your best life. And I say that because I have been almost taken up out off this earth so many times. And I think it was the very last time, at least the one that I could tell I was almost going to be taken out, was my car accident, which I've talked about multiple times on this channel. And the reason why I bring up and reference this car accident so much is because it is not lost upon me that I have been given multiple chances to be taken out of this world, and I'm still here. And one of these days is going to be my time, and one of these days is going to be your time. And because of that, you don't have time to be mad and bitter, man. You only have time in this moment. That's it. So I want to give you guys a perspective today that with the time that we have, for us to be analytical enough of ourselves to say, man, could I be a little bit better? Was I that dude? Did I do that? Am I guilty of that? So that we stop wasting time. Now, let me get to the shout outs, because this is the most important part. I cannot do this channel without you guys. It is you guys' watching. It's you guys' commenting. It's you guys' super chats. It's you guys' cash apps. It's all of these things. It's your guys' liking this. If you haven't hit the like button, hit that like button right now, right? Let's see where we at on these likes. Oh, I need y'all to smash that like button for sure. Okay? Please do that. Everything helps the channel out, man. Right? I can't do this without you guys. So I want to give you guys your shout out and see who's in here today before we get started. Rahimi says, "But Pookie cry over and makes excuses for Pookie, they cry over, make excuses for. Every time they think of men, they think of Pookie. He has unlimited space in their minds. Good man has to be in effect, while Pookie keeps it real with all his flaws. One thing you will learn is to treat the modern woman terrible, make her cry. This is how she stays. Don't treat her like a human. Give her something to complain about. Give her pain, because that's what she knows. Just have good pipe. That's all they care about anyway." See, can I blame Rahimi for this thought process or for some of the things that he talked about? No. But any woman, I'm going to push back though today. I'm pushing back a lot today. I'm going to challenge some of our thought process today, right? On purpose. Any woman who only wants a Pookie or a Ray Ray, do you really want that woman anyway? Do you really want that? Is that somebody that is going to be the type of woman you're looking for anyway? I'm just going to throw that out there and let y'all ponder on that for a second. Shout out to Carl. Thank you for being here, brother. He said, "Hey, now that's what's up." I appreciate you, Carl, for being here. Hands Flight Kidbox. Make sure y'all go check out this brother's channel. He said, "What up, bro? Hey, man, it's great seeing you. I do got to catch up on your videos, man. I have been busy." As much as I still try to keep up with the channel, I also have been giving myself some breaks to celebrate. Also, I had to help my mom move at last month. Birthday came up right after it. So I have a lot of catching up to do with a lot of you guys' channel, but I try here and there where I can. So thank you. Everybody go check out Hands Fly Kitbox. She just really needs to find herself after 20 years of marriage with half your stuff. Yeah. I mean, listen, I acknowledge And we should acknowledge that in marriage, I make 5-year plans. Every 5 years, I have a new plan that I make. This plan that I have currently ends at 2025. Me living in Mexico for a point in time wasn't supposed to happen until after 2025. It wasn't. But I got a taste of it a little early, which made me say, okay, well, I got 2 years to try to like do some things. And if I don't, I'll just go back to doing what I was doing. I'll leave the country again and figure it out outside the country, I guess, So the point I was trying to make with that is every 5 years I reevaluate, because I realize that even though the core of me, of Sean has been the same, and most of my friends will tell you that, what they will also probably acknowledge is that every 5 years, we change just a little bit more. We're just a different version of the same person, right? I am not the same person I was 5 years ago, nor am I the same person I was 10 years ago, right? And if you're a person who's always looking to self-improve, then you're going to change. So couples need to realize they got to sit down and really talk things out. Really talk out where are we at? Who are we at this point? What do we want for this next 5 years? If I tell you what, if couples sat down and really planned out together what they see each 5-year period looking like, they'd probably be less likely to break up after when it gets later. Because I know that a lot of couples have this unspoken, we've been together so long, we don't talk about things. But I mean, if they sit and planned out and they say, okay, this is the roadmap for the next 5 years where we see ourselves, yeah, they're going to change inside of that, but they're going to be guided by the same principles and the same goals. So I challenge you men who still want those type of relationships, that is up on you. If you want to be the leader of that household or you want to be the man, you're going to have to set those things. I'm not talking about being authoritative, all this stuff, but you're going to set the tempo and say, look, hey, where do we see each other in 5 years? You're going to have to sit down and get her to the table and let her know, here's the plan. Let's discuss this thing. Right? Carl says irreconcilable differences equal. He would have let me have a boyfriend or spend the last of his savings up. Stephen Ford says, happy birthday, bro. Mine was April 9th. Hey, man, happy belated birthday, Stephen. I think, didn't you say that on one of the last live streams? Because you're in that Aries territory there, bro. I probably would have said happy birthday. Stephen says, you're not speaking negative at all, bro. I'm not trying to be, even though I might bring that information across that way. Becca Ridge the Great, thank you for being here. Hello and good afternoon. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you very much. Shout out to my brother O from Speak Spanish Now. Please go check out his channel. If you are interested in learning Spanish and learning it in a way that you're going to be able to use it and use it well, then you want to check out Speak Spanish Now, especially you guys that are interested in travel. One of the biggest things that I learned, or one of the best things that I learned to do was to learn to speak Spanish. And is it perfect? No. Like, honestly, I need to work on my operational daily Spanish a little bit more, right? My casual speaking Spanish a little bit better. And because that helped me when I lived in Mexico. But if you go to Speak Spanish Now, this brother right here will help you with that. Thank you for being here. He said, buenas noches, Benito. Happy belated birthday. I appreciate you, man, for being here so much. XL Pro, salute to you, brother. Thank you for being here. Preston is in the house. What's up, my dog? He said, what up, Sean C. Pimp Money? Hey, I'm doing good, man. I mean, just doing well as I can. You know what I mean? The modern woman will kill you emotionally, physically, and financially. Yeah, they will, man. And that's why we talk about these things on the channel, man, because I want us to be aware of what's out there and see it coming from a mile away. Sorry to hear about that. My condolences. Yeah, me too, man. That's why it's real important to make sure you talk and acknowledge the people that you maybe haven't talked to in a while. I had people that was like, you went to your, 25th reunion when I went there, a year ago. And yeah, I was like, yeah, man, because and I had friends that didn't go, and it was like, man, whatever, right? I don't really care about all that. And like, like we spent time with some of those people, and some of those people you guys called friends at one point, or at least acquaintances. And I get it. It could be cliche or tacky to go to any of these things. I'm gonna tell you, for the people that were at my last reunion, it wasn't like it was some of my close friends, but like a lot of like some of the closest friends that I have been knowing for the longest wasn't there. And that just made me think, man, it's like we don't know when each other's time is up. And for to make it to that level, that amount of time since graduating, since high school, and we still are alive, I think we should acknowledge that, man. We came through a pandemic, man. And so this was the first time that a lot of us had seen each other, or that some of us had seen each other. And I think that we have to just be more appreciative, man. These people came across us in life. And I don't take that lightly, especially in light of the information that I had today. Preston says, and that's exactly why I say it's all about being yourself. Life is too short to be fake, so you live in a moment while you still can. Absolutely. Which I forgot to mention when I was talking about hanging out with these people for my birthday that was in town visiting, right? We just kind of like clicked and hit it off, and they were having fun hanging out with a Vegas local while I was having fun kind of experiencing Vegas through their eyes in a way, right? So it was mutually beneficial. It had some crazy times in there, but it was fun. I mean, like I was kind of just letting the weekend take me where it wanted to. You know what I mean? I went to several places, met a whole bunch of different types of people during over the last course of the last week, because it started last Wednesday. Last Wednesday, I did the live stream. I said couldn't stay on long. I wound up going to dinner afterwards with some very close friends of mine. And that's how the birthday celebration started, right? Going into Thursday, which was my actual birthday. And then the weekend just kind of took over from there, man. I say all that to say, I just enjoy good people now at this point in life. You know what I mean? Life is so short, man. It's all about the moments. And that's all I want you guys to get a part of. We're going to have to get into this topic real soon. Let me go through these really a little bit quicker. I find it so hard to find anyone who I even like. I suppose my old-fashioned tendency can be a bit repulsive by some. Yeah, it's going to be hard, man. There's always change. And there's some things that obviously you stay true to yourself about, but there's some things that you have to adapt with the times for certain things. Breckenridge the Great, thank you for being here. XL Pro says, MX Xavier. Oh, Mexico. Okay, gotcha. Hey, you make mistakes, you lay down with your mistakes, you procreate mistakes. Sorry I missed your birthday. Happy late. That's all good. Shout out to Jock Wilkins. Make sure you go check out this brother's channel. Me and him talk all the time. Excellent brother out there doing great things. Shout out to Sean. Thank you so much. Carl says, bro, speaking Spanish has opened up a whole world for work and women. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Reunions are definitely sobering. It is, man. Especially like the previous reunion we had, I messed up so bad, man. I was so drunk, I almost went to jail. That's how bad I was, right? In between that, we lost folk. We lost folk before it. We lost folk after it. So I wanted to make sure that I definitely went to the next reunion we had because we lost folk. Busy is an understatement. Yeah, I've been going hard. Oh, I've been going hard, brother. All right. I want to get into this because I've already let a half an hour go by. But I can't do this without you guys. So I want to acknowledge that. Let's get right into this topic. All right. I had to even take down notes because I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys the dope. Okay. So this is an article by BuzzFeed. I will link this article down in the description after this video. If I don't, please hold me to this later. But this came out, if you see, this came out 3 days before my birthday. I was actually reading this in San Antonio airport as I was getting ready to fly back here to Vegas. And I sat and I read this and I said, wow, this would be a great topic, right? And then I came on the live stream and told y'all about this. 15 women revealed what it's like lowering their dating standards, and their stories are legit eye-opening, okay? Hence the topic for today. This is one of the statements. Lowering my standards made me less motivated. The relationship drained me mentally, and it was one of those situations where even though I knew it was wrong, I stuck around. No amount of attention or relations is worth wasting your time, all right? It's these 71 comments down here that we're going to go through, and that's going to be the comments of the day. We're going to go through those in real time, but I want to get through these. I'm not going to belay it. I do have some comments for each one of these. I made notes because I didn't want to ramble on about each one, but we're going to get right into it. Okay. So this all became a part of a Reddit post, right, where this article came from, where this woman asked the community, women who have lowered their dating standards, what happened? All right. And supposedly they didn't hold back. I've read through these. And so we're going to go to the first one. Okay. This one, she says, this first woman says she lowered my standards for a guy I wasn't physically attracted to, but he had a nice personality and we got along well. The relations left me consistently unsatisfied, but again, nice guy. So I made it work with my handy dandy pocket bullet. At the end of the day, once he got comfortable, he began playing mind games, ignoring my calls because he wanted me to miss him, asking me to find him a threesome partner, and gaslighting the hell out of me. We broke up after 2 months and I was resentful. If I was going to get dragged through the coals like that, I wanted to at least look back on my relations and be like, all right, it was a mixed bag. But nope, it was 2 months wasted. This was like a year ago. And I still start swinging at the air when I remember how foolish I was. Don't lower your standards, ladies. Okay. So what I'm going to say about, God dang it. What I'm going to say about this first one was, the first thing I have to say about this first woman is it was good that she was actually able to overlook some of the superficial things, right? Because relations in a relationship will eventually die down. And we learn that, especially if you get married, relationships will die down for the woman while they stay relatively the same for men. Okay. We need to talk about that in a future topic. Okay. But relations shouldn't be non-existent. Okay. And some women claim that, relations are bad for them and it can be better. To me, I think that some women, it could be better for if they were willing to be more. Ooh, I almost spilled that drink. Jesus. If they were willing to be more open about what they wanted, right? So some women actually want men to be mind readers, and it not just in the relations department, but about a whole bunch of other crap. Want you to read their minds because they feel like if they have to ask you, then it isn't spontaneous and or romantic. So because us men aren't mind readers, tell a guy what you like, learn together, especially if you like the dude, learn together, okay? You as a dude, we want to act like we got it all figured out. Each woman is different, where they like to be touched, kissed, played with, all these different things, right? You're willing to put, when you with somebody long enough, you're willing to put your ego to the side. I wouldn't even say long enough. This is some crap you need to know in the beginning. Ask her where she likes to be kissed, touched, all these different things. Put your ego to the side. This would help a lot of relationships if people were honest and open enough to be able to discuss and talk about these things, okay? So at least she was able to at least give that guy a chance. Understand some men aren't going to be ready to have that discussion with their women because of their ego. But again, this would save a lot of relationships if people were like more honest and talked about these things. But people aren't. So relationships. Now, I'm very cautious when women say and talk about gaslighting. Okay. Very cautious about that. This is because when women have abused this term to mean Women have abused this term to the fact that it fits for when men sometimes are just voicing our opinions, our concerns, and then women want to call that gaslighting, especially if you're a man and you're making good points. All right. Then, oh, he's gaslighting me. Like, no, bitch, I'm trying to tell you some good stuff and you don't want to listen. All right. So whenever a woman uses the word gaslighting, I almost have my hand on my wallet because I don't trust this bitch, right? Just don't. Okay. But the one mistake that this guy made, okay, and a lot of men do, is that we get too comfortable in relationships sometimes, okay? We treat women or relationships sometimes like old shoes. Once we get comfortable in those old shoes, we may not get rid of them, all right? But we don't take care of those shoes. Once they get old and worn down, they're not getting the toothbrush treatment, right? They're not getting the toothbrush treatment like we do for them Jordans, right? Like we do for whatever, right? These are just some Skechers you done pulled out the closet, all right? Some old New Balances, whatever. They ain't getting the toothbrush treatment anymore. They might get the spray and the rag every now and again, but them shoes, go look at your most worn pair of shoes. You ain't keeping them clean, unless you like, I got OCD, but I don't have OCD like that, okay? Right? We won't get rid of them, but we don't take care of them like we should, okay? So we got to be careful about that as men. And the last thing on this first article is, and this brings me to the point that I want to make early on, okay? And you're going to see this repeated throughout the article. In some instances, these men treat their women poorly, and they wonder why women break up with them, okay? We got to acknowledge that. You're going to see some common themes in this about some of these dudes not treating their women well, right? We talk about, we want women to be a certain way. We talk about modern women and how they behave, yet and still we ourselves are not doing the basis. They are people too. Now, I understand that there's certain things you don't want to white knight or simp for these women, because if you go and simp too hard, you're going to lose her that way too. Yes, ladies, you know it to be true. If a man is just doing everything that you want, you're just going to leave at some point. You're going to be like, I don't like it. He's too accommodating. So there's a balance. There is some credibility to what Hakimi said earlier, if I said the name correctly. All right? Not said Hakimi, but you know what I mean, the first comment. So with that being said, we have seen women treated amazing by their men, and they end up leaving anyway. It's not good enough. Right? And in some instances, some men need to make their relationships more balanced, again, by not being pushover or being too nice. I've said this on this channel before. Women will test a man at some point in the relationship, and how this relationship is going to end up being will be dependent on how we as men respond to the test when it happens. That's why I talk about being on our purpose, being on our grind. I talk about these things all the time because as a man, it is important for us to stand firm on our principles and our beliefs that we have established, hopefully in the beginning of the relationship. However, if you decide to be something different than what you proposed to be when you first got in a relationship, be it you are a man or a woman, and you are expecting something different than what was presented in the beginning, obviously men and women are going to change at some point. But then the result of and the outcome of any relationship falls upon the person or persons who weren't truthful in the beginning about who they were or who they were going to be. Let me repeat myself. Let me simplify that. Let me put this for the cheap seats. If you are perpetrating a fraud in the beginning of the relationship, then don't be mad when the person wants to return you as an item. Wants to take you to the customer service of dating and relationship because what they got in the package was not the same. People are going to change, yes. But if you are completely different, again, I told you, I might be a different version of every Sean that has come before me, but my friends who know me and love me will tell you to the core, I still see Sean. Does that make sense? Even though maybe I'm the older, wiser version of what they know. Let me see what you guys have to say about story number 1. Preston says, don't forget they also drive you to go crazy. They also make you go loony toony. How about chicken-ish bananas luffy? Man, Preston, no lies detected, bro. Preston always got them rhymes. If you give them the good deed, a woman will deal with being treated like trash. You know, for some women, yeah. I mean, listen, good relations is part of it, you know, like, but as a man, you want good relations too, right? I will be honest with y'all, man. When I was younger, if a woman gave me, I'm not talking about good relations, if she gave me relations and I couldn't, like, she was winning, if she was just constantly beating me all the time, like the relations was that good, I never stayed with that person. Never. Nope. It's kind of like Once Upon a Time in Mexico when the food was so good, Johnny Depp walked in the kitchen and just shot the chef. Because, like, no, I'm not staying around for this. That person is going to have power over you, right? Like if it's that good, whew, man, that person's going to be able to control your mind and your heart. Can't do it. Preston says these women are the main reason that a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You can't go anywhere until you change. Too funny, man. Let me get back to this article. We're going to go to the second one. This second woman says many female friends of mine laughed at me and told me not to date him, saying I was doing charity work. I asked him out anyway. He treated me like crap, belittled me, insulted me, shouted at me when I was suffering from anxiety, and never spent time with me. He was tight AF, y'all know what I'm talking about, as fudge about birthday and Christmas presents. Listen, any woman, when I date women, I'm not big on presents. I'm not about the physical. I'm just not a gift buyer like that. And it's not because I'm being cheap. I just don't care about things. So that's something that, like, I need to know about a woman in the beginning. Not to say I don't get things, but when I get things, it means more. Because for me to go out my way and get it, you better appreciate it when I do it. Because if I can take constructive criticism about getting something that maybe you wanted a little bit different. But if you totally crap on something I get you, don't expect anything from me in the future. Now you can say, well, Sean, that's a flaw of yours, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I make that known in the beginning. And if a woman is going to walk away based on how I am about physical possessions, then she really don't know me in the beginning. She don't know me anyway. So he was tight as AF about birthday and Christmas presents despite having a large inheritance. So this dude have money, ain't buying crap. It ain't got nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with, I think people put too much stock on things. And that's part of our problem here in this hyper capitalistic society we have here. He'd sneer at me across the table randomly, and I didn't understand why. I was his first relationship, so I tried very hard with him for months. Then he dumped me in a public place in our college because his friends told him to. He insisted that I hadn't done anything wrong and was the perfect girlfriend, but still didn't speak highly of me for years after the breakup. Lesson learned, never lower your standards and don't be nice 24/7 to someone who's cruel to you. Okay? I'm going to come back up on screen once I figure out which one of these cursors are the real one. All right. What do y'all think about that? The girl number 2. I had a couple thoughts on this one. The first one is there are many women who have lost out on good men just because of what their friends thought about and who she was dating. Okay, ladies, if your friends are single, let me put this out there to you, ladies. Okay, if your friends are single and they've been single for a while, unless the guy clearly is crazy or has crazy eyes or is coming off that he's going to potentially be harmful to you, then don't listen to them biatches, okay? Because some of your friends will keep you single because they are lonely and miserable themselves. They are single for a reason. Then once you get up in the relationship, keep your relationships, ladies, as private as possible because misery loves company. Some women who are unhappy are only happy when their friends aren't as happy as they are. I'm going to repeat that again because that might have went over a couple of you ladies' heads. But some women who are unhappy are only happy when their friends aren't as happy as they are. Y'all needed to hear that. I'll let y'all ponder on that later. I'm going to clip that one later, okay? And then the second part, the second thing that I got from this lady, right? It sounds to me that this dude was not into this woman, okay? This is what I get from it. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Once he got his money, it seems like he felt that he had more options as well. And I'm not in the business of just treating people badly or poorly for any reason. I don't believe in doing that, okay? I do acknowledge that some men do this to show dominance or to think that this is going to make a woman like them more. And another thought, though, for a man who doesn't know how to express himself, this is one of the most primitive ways that some of us men express how we feel. Okay, think about it. A man who likes a woman may be a little bit more insulting, maybe a little bit more belittling, maybe in a playful way, just as if he was a young boy again or in school again, if he liked a girl, right? Think about this. It's like the grade school pulling on a girl's hair, trying to get her attention. She brought it up. She said something that keys me in to think that this guy is still suffering from that grade school how to deal with women type mentality because she said that this was his first relationship. That's the thing that stood out to me. And this makes a little bit more sense when you think of it this way. Men who have little experience with women don't understand they don't understand how to show dominance, okay? Stability and control without it always coming off as controlling or demeaning. See, real G's hit hard and move in silence. A woman, when she really loves and respects her man, that dude don't have to do much. There's a quiet reverence. She tests that dude one time and she instantly knows that she can't get away with crap. So this is just something to keep in mind. If you're one of these guys that can't express themselves or in the, you feel that you have to be demeaning to your woman to get her on your program and this, that, and the third, then I dare say that this may not be the woman for you, or you may not be the man for her. Why go through all that? And you say, well, Sean, I have to because that's how we have to deal with these women, blah, blah, blah. And I understand there's a certain dominance as a man that you have to show for a woman to respect you. I'm not going to deny that, okay? Ain't no simping here. However, think about all these dudes that have gotten their passports and now they have, they found their wives overseas. Do they have to do all that stuff to show that they're a man? No. There's subtle things about being a man that a woman can pick up on and they can relate to. So I acknowledge that for some of these modern women, you may have to do certain things above and beyond to prove yourself. But the fact, if you got to, put her down and beat her down to do it, then why are you in that relationship, man? Because you're not going to get her true respect. All you're getting is fear. You know? Just my thought. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, let me see what you guys said here. Carl says, probably a good idea to treat women like dirt at first and find out where her head is. Maybe. I think you mean misery in loser's company. Yeah. It is misery in loser's company, and misery does, that statement stands. It's been around for a very long time. Okay, let's go to the next one. This woman says, I wind up reducing myself more and more to manage his insecurities, which seem to grow the further you get from the, oh my God, she picked me excitement. The more insecure they get, the more they try to destroy you until you don't recognize yourself anymore. Sounds like she's a little bit jaded and bitter. Then when you finally leave after all this contortion and amputation of the self, you can't stand yourself or comprehend what you were thinking. It's also then that everyone comes out of the woodwork to tell you that they could never understand why you were with them. This one here, I'm gonna be real quick on this one, on my thoughts on this one. Listen, on the surface, it seems like she has some real valid points about men who get excited when women pick them. Okay. You do have some men who, oh my God, she picked me type behavior. And I have a dude I know who's very insecure, and his flaws all come out in the exact same way. That, oh my God, she picked me. And then he has flaws based upon that type of attitude. And no matter how many times I tried to tell this dude about it, he won't listen. And that made me realize I stopped talking to him, because I realized anybody who is so willing to put a woman up on a pedestal because she picked him and he's scared to lose her is a dude that he's going to have to go through this heartache on his own. Okay. And this may even be seen as borderline creepy behavior to some women, because it actually is. But I'm going to give you another perspective on how to look at this behavior. The exact same thing that this woman said could be described, could be behavior that could also be contributed with a Pookie's behavior or Billy Ray's behavior. Okay. Think about it. That description that she brought up, I'm going to bring it back up on the screen. This behavior could be a dude who is insecure, who is, oh my God, she picked me. But if you really look at some of the stuff that she said, it sounds to me that she could have also been with a Pookie. That's what I read when I see that. Let's see what you guys have to say. Where am I at? No, there we go. Preston says, these people treat themselves like dirt. Bitter hurts for their own worst. You can't even clean a filthy mind crime. I see you on rare form tonight there, Preston. All right. Let's get to the next one. This one says, my ex lived in my mom's basement. He's now 50 years old, made excuses that she needed him there. She does not. He was lazy and selfish and never made any future plans with me to move out, even though we did start to look at one point. He used to work out a lot and came knocking at my door when he was losing his hair and had lost his body. Physical aspects aren't everything, but looking after your health and putting effort into yourself is important in a relationship. There was no emotional validation. He did not value me. He was emotionally unavailable. Some men going to do that. The best thing we can do for ourselves is to be able to give ourselves the things we need first, so we attract people who compliment us, not drain us. You know, I'm going to tell you guys what I think about this one. All right. This one right here, oddly enough, all right, to me, number 4 is the woman who this woman picked just the classic loser. The thing I want to highlight here is that this is the type of man who will complain about women, what they're doing and not doing. But he himself is the result of a man who is not on his purpose and not willing to work on himself for anything in life, okay? Or not willing to work hard for anything in life. He's not willing to do that. These are the type of men that you're gonna find out here buying foot picks for $2,000 online. Okay, this dude is making it hard and bad, terrible for all the rest of us men because he himself don't want to get his crap together. Right? There are some men that are like that. These men are making it bad for you and me. Right? If you are a good dude, you're out there, you're working hard. This is the dude that's making it bad for you. This is the type of dude that's making it that women won't give you the time of day or won't talk to you because she talked to a loser, gave this dude a chance. He showed traits in the beginning that he was going to be a loser. And this is what she's going to base everything upon, right? This dude complains about everything, won't put in the work, ain't putting in the work. And she's going to see every dude after that like this dude, unless he's a pookie. If a woman can't see this type of man coming from a mile away, then she gonna get what she deserves. I'm sorry, she gets what she deserves. You don't see this dude coming from a mile away, but unfortunately, right? A lot of women date these guys for years. They'll give themselves, they'll give their bodies to these dudes for years. And then when she's all used up from this type of man, okay, she thinks she deserves better. How do you deserve better when you gave all of your best years to this ex-Chad Tyrone type of dude, right? The jock, whatever, right? Like that type of dude. There is a time limit for modern women on doing better. But Sean, I can't improve. I can't. There's a time limit for modern women who think they can do better. If you've only dealt with trash, you don't wait until you've given in, allowed yourself to be used up, because you not only have given your best self to these type of dudes, but you also have this trauma from dealing with these type of dudes, and you think you deserve better. And that's the kind of things that Kevin Samuels talked about. Pardon me, you guys. These women being delusional on this type of stuff. It makes absolutely no sense. So that's my thoughts on that one. Let's go to the next one. All right. This woman says, when I was 19, I wouldn't date a guy who didn't have a job, a car, and wasn't working toward getting his own place. As I had my own place and a job, but was working on the car. I had goals of an education or a career. I dated 3 people who had either all 3 of these things, or 2 out of the 3. One of them was a complete waste of time. One was a player, and the other sent my nudes to my friends. That's crazy. Another guy I dated was not what I considered up to par. He was unemployed, didn't have a bus pass, and barely had furniture in his bedroom at his mom's, let alone considered getting a place. Okay, so this is a dude with no ambition. When we began dating, he had a job. So she was dating this loser at the beginning, quote unquote loser, who didn't have anything going on for himself. She gave him a chance. He had a job within 1 month and was dedicated to it. He was never late. He never phoned in. He got his license. He financed a vehicle within 1 year. Within 3 years, he went back to school, upgraded all of his marks. Within 5 years, he was in college while working a full-time job. He's been my husband of 11 years now and is the most hardworking man I've ever met in my life. He's constantly striving for better. And this is a good one, man. This is a good tale right here of like, look, not in all instances women are going to be able to date somebody who just gets their crap together like this. But sometimes, right? Listen, not all men who have nothing are these same type of diamonds in the rough. Um, no more than some women are. All right. I think a lot of women make the mistake of thinking they can change a man until it's too late, right? They make this mistake too late. Women think they can change a man and they cannot. A man will not change until he's ready to change, right? A man who has drive and determination to make something of himself always had that in him. It was always somewhere in there, okay? Some women who comes into our lives, gents, will be able to unlock that potential by allowing a man to be himself, or allowing a man to be a man, not himself, because himself at that point may not be good, but allowing a man to be a man while believing in his ability, while allowing him to unlock his ability and being that support for him. That is so helpful as a man when you have a woman that you can look at and rely upon to do or be that way, right? This is not the same as trying to change a man to make him, ladies, what you think you want him to be. Completely different than unlocking the potential that's in that man and allowing that man to be the man he is. Realizing that you can't change him, but you can be a helpmeet for him. Because thinking that you can change a man is a delusional fantasy that some of you women need to get out of your heads, okay? All right, let's get to the next one. She says he was a great and sweet man, but missed an adventurous streak I needed. We had a pretty great 3 years, but at the end of the day, it just didn't feel right. It felt strange for me. It felt strange for leaving because he really was exceptional. He just didn't satisfy my needs. I don't regret our time together, and I don't think he does either. We got each other through some hard times, and I think we needed each other during that season. Um, Real quick, I'm not going to even switch the screen on this one. As far as girl six, in one hand, we always tell women to choose better. Therefore, I understand if she, was with somebody that didn't meet who she was looking for. Okay, we've seen some. I've seen some of these profiles of women who are looking for guys who want outdoorsy guys, or she has pictures where she's always on these paddle boards, or she's hiking and doing all this outdoorsy stuff. When I come across women like that online, right, personally, I swipe left. Not because I don't go out and do those things. It's because I know that for the lifestyle that this woman is portraying right there, that's not who I am. A woman who's in the gym and all her pictures of her being a gym rat. Do I respect and like women who go to the gym all the time? Absolutely, right? But I am also not the dude. Like, I go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, right? 3 to 5 times a week I'm in the gym. But that's not who I am trying to portray. I'm not trying to portray that, that I'm a gym rat. This is a normal part of my lifestyle and a healthy part of it. So I don't be like, oh, I live in the gym. No, the gym is just something I do, right? So I don't begrudge this woman for saying it don't work out, because sometimes it's just not who we want, okay? As far as her leaving an exceptional man, I'm not mad about that either. But ladies, get that crap out of your systems early. Get that crap out of your system early on passing up on good men. Because once you commit to a good man, be more certain of your future choices than your past ones. What I mean is, modern women don't realize that you only get so many bites at the apple of having good men. especially if you're starting to get post-wall, when you're post-wall. Once you're post-wall, you ain't going to get that many bites at the apple. And women think they can just shuck off the ones that actually have been with good and or exceptional men think they get multiple bites at the apple. And it's tough because you don't. Okay? Let's get back to this. 7. So the big thing about this is she promised that she wouldn't lower her standards. She expected something good after being in a horrible 4-year relationship. But she said with her recent partner, she had been supporting him emotionally, mentally, financially, convenient enough before he came into a chunk of money. He started getting weird. And during our last fight, he was ready to throw me out like a piece of garbage. So this dude got rid of her after he came into some money. She says she's okay and moving into a new chapter in her life, all right? So, real quick, what I have to say about that one is I'm just gonna be real quick with this. It sounds like these were two emotionally needy people. And if this happens to you at maybe once, maybe twice in your life, is understandable that you might get with somebody in a vulnerable time in your life, right? But to continue to choose these type of people all the time for the rest of life becomes a personal character flaw. That means you haven't worked on yourself. That means that you keep selecting the same type of people. And this is what we talk about. These are the videos and the women that we are bringing up on this channel all the time. To me, it implies that you have a lack of growth and critical thinking skills about your own life, all right? And that's what I see, right? People choosing people who are emotionally needy. This one right here, she talks about lowering your standards is not worth it. For a short while, I enjoyed being in a relationship and felt as though I had multiple aspects of my life together. Then later, the cracks began to show. We just weren't compatible. He knew it. I knew it. He couldn't even hold a meaningful conversation. Basically, they weren't having good conversations level of incompatibility. She says she's single and happy now and hopes to meet somebody she's compatible with. But for now, I'm not lowering my standards. Okay. Let me say about this one. Okay. Not being with someone who is compatible, it happens from time to time. Okay. And this is not lowering one's standards. Sometimes people understand that you know, things get better when you spend more time with a person. But after you spend some time with a person and you realize that you aren't compatible with them, that's fine. All right. Before anyone gets into a relationship, they need to really understand the other person's, how they move, their actions, their attitudes, their demeanor. These are things that you need to understand about a person. And if you come to the conclusion that you're not compatible, you're not compatible. And that's okay. There are people who have wonderful relationships out there and they rarely speak to each other. And the reason is, and I think this is really important key, even about this small section, this small story, is because communications and actions can be nonverbal. I used to love that my second ex was a very talkative person. I always said, oh, she can go out. I could take her out. She's very personable, you know, I could take her out. She's very personable. I know that she can mingle in a crowd, right? I used to love that about my second ex, right? And then I realized something about her that changed that for me. I realized that she wasn't speaking because there was purpose to what she was saying. I realized that she would talk a lot sometimes and be that open and to talk to everyone because she didn't know how to operate in silence. See, silence was loud for her. So she couldn't stand awkward silence. And some people are like that. I get it. But it was a red flag to me that she didn't understand how to manufacture her own peace. That's the part I got. And that's what I get from this. Okay. So let me get back to this. I'm going to get to y'all comments here in a second. Actually, let's get to y'all comments now because there ain't that many comments left. Preston says, you will find that it's necessary to let things go simply for the reason that they are heavy. Absolutely. There comes a point when you have to realize that you'll never be good enough for some people. The question is, that your problem or theirs? And that's a valid and or fair question, Preston. Absolutely valid and fair. Okay. All right. I'm going to only get to a couple more of these, and then I'm going to get to the comment section or get to the comments. So number 9 talked about she was with a dude that treated her like crap. Right. She said he was a solid 2 inside and out and thinks they deserve nothing less than an absolute 10. You know what's funny? You have women like this too. All these women, I'm a queen. I'm slaying it. I'm this. I'm that. Solid 2s. Average women. And they think they deserve 10. If this is not the pot calling the kettle black. Jesus. All right. This one said she dated a guy for 1 year. They broke up. She dated a second guy. They broke up. Then she went back. The guy won. Right. And then she thought she could change him. I want you to keep this in mind. I kept hoping it would change and thought I could change him, but he didn't do anything to help himself. So I left. She wound up meeting a third guy, and they're going to be celebrating their 1 year anniversary in a week. She said if she would have kept her standards low, she would have never found him. I told you guys in the beginning, you can't change a guy who don't want to be changed. Okay. She said that she became, this is the one, an opening statement about becoming less motivated and drained. She knew it was wrong, but she stuck around anyway. This one says, oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. My partner isn't adventurous and my relationship isn't passionate. I wanted to leave for a while, but we have kids. Not being a match for my needs isn't enough of a relationship to break up my family. I'm just trying to work through it, though. We work as a family, just not as a couple. This woman right here, my partner isn't adventurous and isn't passionate. She is sticking around right now for the kids, but I guarantee at some point she's leaving this dude. It's done. It's done. So these are the last 2 right here. She says, I gave a guy a chance after he asked me out. It surprised me when we got along. I quickly told him we couldn't date, though. I was a bit embarrassed to have been seen with him because he had a reputation of being an a-hole. I got to know him better, and his demeanor wasn't as bad as it had been. I didn't find him swooningly attractive, so I wasn't desperate for his attention. It wasn't perfect at first, but we grew together and became pretty dang good at navigating disagreements. Now I think he's the most handsome, funny guy ever, and we've been married for almost 5 years. Let me tell you something that's very unique about this one here. And this is the last one I'm going to talk about, right? It's the last one I'm going to talk about. But this one here, I thought was one of the most important ones. The most telling thing about this girl number 14 or woman number 14 is that she said the term navigating disagreements. In the military, we call that conflict resolution. And there are many ways to handle conflicts in the military, but in some instances, there are specific ways to handle it. And knowing this is how we in the military can maintain unit cohesion with efficiency. If more couples really could adopt how to have good conflict resolution with their significant other and implement this and adopt this, we would see less divorces and more people would stick it out longer. But a lot of people are so into self. They do not know how to, first of all, resolve the conflicts within themselves, much less between another person. How are you going to resolve a conflict with somebody else if you're conflicted within yourself? Do that even make sense? It don't. It make none sense. It really don't. And as Preston said in his last comment, is that your problem or theirs? Well, if you're in a relationship, it's both of your problems because it's going to eventually hurt and or affect both people. So I'm going to get to the comments of the day. The comments of the day are actually going to come from this article again. And I want you guys to see what people said. Okay. Now, I tried to be fair and balanced to what some of these women were going through and how we as men could be better. In some of these instances, these dudes, these women were kind of justified in some of these things. And if you as a man find yourself, if you find yourself behaving or acting in some of these ways, now granted, we don't know the other side of the story, but just on face value of what we're hearing, you can read between the lines. That's why I've talked about some of these women and their choices in these situations, because I can only talk about what they gave us. But I tried to keep it balanced to say, hey, we could be better in this aspect. But I'm also giving women a perspective of the mistakes that they make in these relationships too. You know, you gave regular guys, quote unquote, regular guys a chance, but a lot of these women gave losers a chance. And then they wonder why it ended badly. Because in the end, women choose poorly. They do. When it comes to relationships, women are terrible. They choose terribly. Now listen, I'm gonna put this up on the screen. There was 71 comments. I'm just gonna highlight a couple of them and see what we're gonna see what they talk about real quick in the comments of the day. This person says, stop staying together for the kids. Divorce is hard on them, but staying in a bad marriage is more damaging. You deserve to be happy, and your kids deserve to see you happy. That right there. Let me come back up on the screen for this one. This right here, this type of advice. Getting a divorce. Okay. I was serving with a guy, and when I was talking about divorce with him, he was saying that his parents were miserable together, and he was like, we knew. I wish they had just gotten a divorce. Okay. But this type of advice is dangerous. You should just get a divorce so you could be happy. And that should not even be in a person's happiness, has nothing to do with this shit. The reason why these kids are failing right now is because we are seeing them without the dads in the home. And so if you're going to leave because of happiness, make sure that if you leave, ladies, that you are 100% ensuring that this child's father is going to be in these kids' lives. And you can't. And I'm going to tell you why you can't. Because a lot of dudes don't see divorce sneak up on them. Yes, there are men who have been divorced and all they want to do is see their kids, and you have women who are bitter and will not allow it, who make it difficult for that man to have a relationship with them kids. But the other part about divorce that some women don't get for us men is that divorce is hard on us too. A man can feel betrayed by a divorce. So I hear women say like, well, I'm trying to get him to see his kids, but this, that, and the third. You're talking about a man that feels like, especially the ones who didn't see it coming, especially the ones who were, you can acknowledge he was a good dude, you just wasn't happy with him. You pushed for that marriage, but you were quick to get rid of that marriage when it didn't suit your needs and your feelings. Men can't argue women's feelings because it's subjective. But that's the problem, right? All these subjective feelings, these subjective truths, or I'm living my truth. You living your truth don't mean you're living in facts or you're living in the same world that we're living in. Okay? So you can't guarantee that. You made the choice. These kids are suffering for it. And you're right. Staying in a bad marriage is more damaging. All I say is, if this is the case, do everything in your power to keep them kids around their father. Period. End of story. The statistics bear it out to say that fathers are needed in these households. All right? Preston says people who wonder whether the glass is half empty or half full are missing the point. The glass is refillable. It is refillable. But we know statistically that these kids need to have fathers around. Okay? Let me put this back up on screen. 5 and 14 were different stories. They nicely illustrate that lowering your standards can be positive or negative thing depending on what your standards were to begin with, right? And if the standards are some fantasy level, then of course they're going to be let down, okay? One person said it's okay to be single, I promise you. This person says men always feel entitled to something better, whereas women think they deserve less. Knock it off, people. Really? Really? Because I see, if you look at the videos on this channel, there are a lot of women who are out there entitled, thinking they're average women, thinking they deserve tens. But this woman says women think they deserve less. Really? The women who deserve less, are the ones who are choosing less. They got women who see themselves higher than they should, and they choose less because that's who they are. If someone shows you who they are, believe them. Right? What else? If someone isn't right for you, say so from the start and get out. So many people knew this from the beginning. Don't waste their time or yours. It's disrespectful to you both. Exactly, man. I talked about that in one of the earlier ones. It's like, why? Of course, if it don't work out, then move on. But you gotta, people wind up still getting married. I don't understand that. Right? This person says, know your worth. Whatever you just thought, it's higher than that. Okay. That's not necessarily true. I think you have a society of people who have this unrealistic, I'm better than what I think I am. And they put this crap on everybody. They do it to their friends. They do it to their families. I'm better than what I think I am, with all these unresolved issues and trauma. And they don't even know it. So they're putting on this air, but inside they're fucking miserable, right? And we all have to deal with that crap. Let's see what Carl says. Carl says he was going to work every day, holding down. Then bam, out of the blue, she wants to leave, and he is moving in with his mom and doesn't really know why. Yeah, that's tough, man. Like, these women are talking about getting divorces based upon feelings, man. You're not going to always love or like the person you with. That's not the way staying into a marriage is. It's not going to be peaches and roses every day. But people are giving advice on here about just breaking it off and leaving. What about them kids, man? And listen, I know for a fact, I left twice, and my kids definitely were affected by it. But I wasn't going to stay in something I was being disrespected in either, right? That's why I made my choice. Because once a woman loses respect for you, or I ain't gonna say like, yeah, once a woman loses respect for you, that's done. I might as well, you crumple that up like a ball of paper for me. I'm like, all right, I get it. And then you go back to the drawing board and you become a better version of yourself, you know? So as much as I always have acknowledged my flaws to my, about my exes, I've acknowledged them, you know. But when you are still the same person you was dealing with the same kind of stuff, it just means that, you know, as much as my exes want to point the finger at me, if you're the same way after all these years and you're still dealing with some of the same issues, then that's on you. I can't do nothing about that. To thrive in life, you need 3 bones: a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. I like that one. I like that. That's a good one. Let's see what else. We got a couple more comments and we're going to get out of here today. This one person said, I dated a guy from high school that worshiped me until I gave him a chance. He was definitely not my type, but funny, seemingly sweet. Biggest mistake. He was the most absent man I've ever been with. Inconsistent, all around annoying. I left after 6 months. This person said, I'm assuming she said, she settled for 10 years married. You do not get the time back. You will regret it. This person says, I'm okay with settling on the amazing sex and not feeling I'm okay with settling on the amazing relations and not feeling relationally gratified, because for me, it's not a deal breaker. It's more like a cherry on top of a delicious sundae. I think it's important to say that because we were told in therapy, this is something to strive towards. When all we wanted was a therapist to help us foster romantic intimacy when we were in a pandemic lockdown and around each other 24/7 and had trouble separating work, social, and romance. Mind-blowing relations doesn't have to be a must for someone, and it's okay if it's a must for others. I'm going to let that be the last comment, and I'm going to tell you why. I think that's a really good point. I think relations in a relationship is important in a relationship. I think it's important. I think you have to have some level of relations. If you're honest and open with each other, it can be better than what you expect, because if it isn't good just by itself, then tell the other person what you want. See, it goes back to that communication again. If you are able to communicate effectively with your partner and you have a great time, the biggest thing that comes out of a relationship that you can really gain, more important than just having relationships, is being able to be honest and open to each other with that intimacy, right? A lot of men right now are just paying women for just intimacy, just to be held, just to be touched, just to hear a woman's voice. And we can say that's simple behavior and stuff and blah, blah, blah. We can go there. But men are craving this intimacy. I was working on a better video for you guys than the one I put out the other day. It was a TSG car story, but I was actually working on a video, and it's going to talk about this very topic. And the damn thing, I lost 2 hours of work because my computer crashed. So I didn't put out that video. I put out the TSG car video instead. I apologize. I hope you guys saw it, but sometimes I hit or miss on these videos. I had a really good video for y'all. It's going to talk about some of these issues that we're talking about today. So it's a current theme about some of the stuff I'm talking about, because I want us men to improve. And the truth, men, gents, ladies, is that we don't even have intimacy in society's relationships today. We don't even have intimacy in it. I saw a video clip today where all this girl was talking about was getting the bag. The dude had to make more than her. She wasn't a helpmate or a support to that guy. She wasn't going to respect him because it was all about money. And I've said before on this channel that women don't even talk about love anymore. I don't hear women talk about love. Nobody gives a damn about love. And not to say love is idealistic, but I'm saying at least you used to hear about it. These women don't care. These modern women today, not all women, but some of these modern women today do not care about love and or intimacy. And women would do themselves a service because a lot of men crave that. It's to the point I'd be scared for the man who gets it. These are probably the same dudes that are getting married because they get a little hint of intimacy and they think that's marriageable enough. Preston says to thrive in life. Oh, you already said that one. Carl says, they say men don't care. A woman will move from $1 million home into the Star of Hope with kids because she's mad. Yeah. Yeah. Loony baloney is the new high, right? I guess so, man. Yep. Shake my head, bro. All right, man. Listen. Today's topic was more just to give us a view to see how these women think when it comes to dating average guys. And I think there's some valid points that we can learn from these situations on how we can be better as men from listening to a few of these examples. But on the flip side, for some of these women, you guys choose terribly. And you say, I'm putting my standards higher. And you think that having this whole list of things that even you as a woman cannot live up to, or that is impossible for most people to live up to, means that you have high standards. Which brings me to question of the day. Do you feel women have unreasonably high expectations of regular men, or are they justified in their expectations of men today? Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. I am interested to hear from you. And let me get to my people today. Preston, thank you for being here. Carl, thank you for being here. Speak Spanish Now. Make sure you go check his channel out. Jock, thank you for being here. XL Pro, thank you for being here today. Breckenridge the Great, thank you for being here today. Stephen Fort, thank you for being here today. Rahimi, thank you for being here today. Right? So I appreciate you guys. I thank you guys for being here today. I'm not going to hold you guys up long. Like I said, I had heard some interesting news today. Sorry I didn't have any videos to do. Sorry if it seems like I'm a little lower energy today. But I would tell you that the information that was in this video, I believe, is very good. So I'm sure I'll be able to get some really good clips out of this one, right? I'll be able to get some really good clips out of today's video. But I'll be honest, I'm a little down to hear about somebody that I respected and knew, served with in the military, isn't with us anymore, right? He was a father, good father, a loved father, and he's no longer here with us. And so it's real tough for me to think about that because it brings my own mortality into question, which I look at all the time, you know, and I hope it's not lost on you guys about your own mortality. That's why I say it's important for us to work on our purpose and, work on ourselves so that we can live our best life. Thank you all for being here today. And until next time, live your best life.